I'll tell you when we're, yeah. Hi, everyone. We are live. Let me just open this up so I can see Karen. Um, Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is a very special day because we're done with the 5 days of the workshop, Get Clients Now, how to get paying clients using Facebook. And one thing I love to do over the weekend is bring on a client that has either gone through my program or is in the middle of my program and talk about, where they're at and where they were prior to working with me and the journey they've been on so that you can actually hear from someone that is maybe just like you. So if you're just hopping on, say hi so we know who's here. And I know already a bunch of you are going to be watching the replay. And if you are, just say hashtag replay so I can get in there and say hi as well. And I want to introduce to you, this is Karen Adams Laing. She is a nurse practitioner. Why don't you kind of give the broad, the credentials of where you're at prior to stepping into this program, because you've been a nurse and then you went back and got your master's and then you became a nurse practitioner. And no?
I'm not a nurse practitioner. I do have my master's, but I'm not a nurse practitioner.
Okay, well, master's is extraordinary in itself. So why don't you kind of give your background of your nursing career, and then how did you get into become a nurse coach? Let's hear about that.
Great. Thank you, Dallas. I appreciate the opportunity to share. I always like to share. So my background, I started out in surgical intensive care back when I first became a nurse, and I loved the cardiac patients. But I always thought, wouldn't it be great if we could get a hold of these people before they had surgery?
Right.
So then I started working in cardiac rehabilitation, and I was working with people, helping them make lifestyle changes. But I kept thinking, it'd be great if we could get a hold of them before they had heart disease, because these people still, had to have a diagnosis of heart disease, angina, something, in order to get into that program. And there was one gentleman in particular that has
And that was the program that you had to be admitted to and you had to stay in a facility, or was it outpatient?
It's outpatient, but you have to come in. Usually, most programs are 3 days a week. You have to come in. Insurance typically covers it, but levels of coverage may vary.
Okay.
It does take a doctor's order, and it includes exercise, usually education with the dietitian as well. And there was one gentleman who said to me, and we'd been working together for a year, and he said to me, I feel better now than I did before my heart attack because now I've made all those changes I meant to make someday. And I thought, okay, this has got to change. So that's when I went back and got my master's in health promotion management. I became trained as a personal coach. Back when I did that training, there was no such thing as an official nurse coach. Since then, I've become a certified health education specialist, and I was able to complete both certifications as a holistic nurse as well as a health and wellness nurse coach, which is actually a board certification, just like getting a registered nurse board certification. So I have that, as well as through the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. I am a diplomat, and I am a certified lifestyle medicine nurse. And that led to me starting my business, All Heart Coaching, which is very prevention focused. We work with people who are at risk for heart disease, but they're ready to tweak their daily routines to decrease the risk of that heart attack or need for medication.
So twofold here. What's the name of your company again, just so people can hear it?
All Heart Coaching.
Okay. So, many of you are listening to see her journey through my program about how to get clients online, okay, and how to use Facebook. But you may also be listening to, gee, my husband needs her, or my sister needs Karen, or because there's so many. What are the statistics around heart disease in the United States? Do you know that?
It's the number one killer.
It's the number one killer.
And so much of it is preventable. That's the really sad part. If we did, and not just if you prevent it, like if you are 55, for instance, and maybe you didn't take good care of yourself all along the way, it's not too late. You can still
Never too late.
reverse what's already there. So, there's always hope.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Great. So I'm sure we all know someone who is probably on a ton of medication. Usually it's more than a handful of medications when you have heart disease, right, Karen? And
Yeah,
there's tons of side effects,
average is
right?
4.
The average is 4 when you have heart disease. Plus, I know from hearing you, there's tons of side effects from some of these medications,
Yeah,
which causes people to stop the medication. So now we're really at risk, right?
absolutely.
So, everyone listening up, if you want to talk to Karen about the possibility, perhaps you have someone you want to refer to her, please contact her, in the DMs for
Absolutely.
sure. And, we'll, connect with her and see if her program is right for you or your loved one or your sister, your brother, your colleague, someone, because it's overwhelming the number of people that have heart disease. And it can be reversed for the most part.
Yeah.
So where were you before you said yes to my program? Where were you with building your business online on Facebook?
I was discouraged.
Why?
It had been a couple of years, and I had worked in 2 other programs, trying to make headway, and one of them I was paying a significant amount, not a horrible amount, but enough to pay attention each
Yeah,
month.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I was doing what was prescribed, but her perspective was different than yours, and the group was too big. So I didn't get as much personal interaction, as much attention to my personal situation. And I don't feel that when I did reach out, I didn't feel like she really understood where I was coming from. She was coming from a business background and working with a lot of business coaches, not as much in the health and wellness industry, which is a little different animal, in my opinion.
Yep.
And so I found that really challenging. So I did that for a year, got discouraged because I was putting money out and not getting money in. And so then I went to a different program the following year, but that ended up being probably a worse choice. It was a lower cost, but it meant I was getting even less attention.
Oh boy. Oh boy. So you hadn't really gotten any clients from online at all.
No paying clients. No.
Okay. So you've been in my program now for 5 months. So what have you seen shift, or what have you learned, or what have you accomplished? Give people a sense of what it's like to go through my program and working with me.
So I was looking back at my calendar when you invited me to come on here. So I did this workshop that you just are finishing up. I did that at the end of August. And I did the work every single day. And I knew that Dallas was somebody who had a structure, a program, and she was going to make me work. And so that was why I wanted to work with her, because I believed that she knew what she was talking about, because I mean, she was very clear. If you have been in this workshop this week, she assigned you homework every single day. And if you want to get something out of it, you got to do the homework. So I knew that if I committed to this, I was going to have to work. So I did. I started at the beginning of September. And Dallas said to me, if you do the work, if you do this on a regular basis, then in 3 to 5 months, you're going to have your first paying client. And at the end of month 4, I had my first paying client. She knows what she's talking about.
I got
I
chills.
know, right? It was crazy, crazy.
I have chills.
But the
Great.
thing she said to me is, by the end of a year, you're going to have a full program. You're going to have a full business. So I know she knows what she's talking about, because I already hit milestone 1 there. But the thing that I will say is, when you're first getting started and she gives you this homework that you got to do every day, oh my goodness, it's so challenging. It just seems like it's so much work. And then after you get going for a while, it's a habit and you just do it every day. And so it really does get easier, but then I will tell you, then she gives you something else to add on to that. But it's good because it pays back. The investment is worthwhile. And then our weekly sessions are so helpful because I learn not just from, of course, I can bring my own issues, my concerns, and Dallas will address those each week. But then I also get to learn from everybody else that's on the call and may be at a different place than I am right now. And so either, it may be something that I'm going to need later, or it's very helpful.
Yeah, great. And then we do once a month, we get together to really assess where you are at and where you need to go for the next 30 days. Okay, so we try to keep on track. So you're not just doing the same old thing over and over, that you're actually building upon in the program. And once like you said, it's building those routines up that it's not like a no-brainer. Where when you first started with me, it's like, right, I have to do, it's all new. But now it's like you get up, you know exactly what you need to do to maintain your momentum and keep attracting people to you, feeding your group, nurturing your group, all the touch points that we talk about, right? And now you're moving into actually creating a launch pad to actually promote your program, which is super duper. The other thing I just wanted to point out to you guys that are on here, who's on here? Hi, Nicole. Let me see who else is on here. Hi, Scarlo. Yeah, hi, Anna. And who else is on here? Avera. Is that, look at how, when she's describing the work she's doing over the last 5 months, did you see the glee in her face? I mean, she's smiling. She's smiling. Right?
So I got to tell you, I looked today, since I was coming on here, at my numbers. So I had 800 friends when I started working with you. And now it's up to 3,398. So there's a lot more.
They're ideal clients now.
Ideal clients, Facebook ideal clients. And like Dallas says, 20% of those people are going to see your post. So that 20% number is significantly larger now than it was when I first started. Correct. And then my group, which did not exist when I started working with Dallas, as of today, I have 230 people in there. And I opened that on December 22nd. So it's only been open a little over a month. And the glee in my face is working in that group. I love being in that group and the energy in that group, the people together. And the thing that I'm really looking forward to is working with a group and getting paid for it.
Right. So the next step is now we're working on creating the launch structure to actually promote in a concentrated fashion your paying group. But what we're doing first is we're warming people up to you, right? So they're playing with you, they're responding to you, they're engaging with you. And like you said, it's like you can't wait to get in the group, right? And start having conversations with people and start building relationships and connections with people and finding out where they're stuck and where they're at with their medication or their, fear of cardiac disease, right? Because maybe their husband has it or there's a family history of it or of some kind. So all of these things are coming together for you, right? Yep. And they're starting to trust you, that you are the expert. And that's what what we do in a community, in a group community, is that, it is actually lighting her up. And that's what is available to all of you, is actually having a group. I mean, that's why you became a coach, right? Is that you actually want to share your expertise and your knowledge and your competence of moving someone from where they are stuck or a condition that they no longer want to where they can be, right? So yeah, that's fantastic. I love the smile and that you love your group. I mean, that's what it's all about. Hi, Dale. Hi, Bonita. Hi, Patricia. You guys, good morning. Good morning. So just let's recap a little bit for people that just hopped on. Karen has a master's in a wide variety of things, but she's basically a nurse coach who specifically deals with people that have a history of cardiac disease, or they have a family history of cardiac disease, are on medication, that want to change. And what she knows from her expertise of being a nurse in a clinical setting in cardiology is that if you change your lifestyle, you can come off those medications or at least lessen them, right? And that's what it's all about. And as we know, there's a big push today. We don't have to stay stuck with, medicine just handing out the Band-Aids, right? The medication and saying, here, take it. Now I'm sure there's a bunch of the population that doesn't want to do the work, right? They don't want to change their lifestyle, right, Karen?
And I've got to say, that is one thing you're talking about, shifts in thinking. That's one thing that this program has also done for me. Because like when people join my group and then leave my group, in the past, I would be hurt. And now I'm like, oh, good, they're gone. They weren't right for this. They're not my ideal client.
Right. Right. And the same thing goes with your email list, right? So we're growing an email list too, because that's
the other number I've got. I had 27 to begin with, 2 of which are my children, so 25.
okay.
And as of today, I'm at 182.
People on your email list.
On my email
so
list.
That's another thing we do in the program, was make sure that you have a free giveaway, which is called a lead magnet. Sometimes you know it as a freebie, that you actually set up a system where you're collecting your people's information and then giving them the freebie in exchange for the free giveaway. So now you have another avenue of communicating with people, because remember, not everyone's seeing everything, right? Less than 20% of your email list is going to open up your email. So that's one mechanism. It was hot 10 years ago. It's not really hot anymore, but it really is the only thing you own besides your website. So if Facebook goes down or you get kicked off Facebook, how are you going to communicate with the people that you have built a relationship with? It's through your email list. Okay. So that is definitely something we work on, like right in the beginning, right? We set that up. So, and then going back, my train of thought was and then nurturing the people in the group. Not everyone, remember, people are scrolling, and everybody's going to be online when you are going live in your Facebook group, or you're posting something. People come back to it, they miss it, they may not see you for a couple of days. So we have 2 avenues going here as far as, hi Esty, hi Linda, as far as getting in front of, being visible in front of your ideal client. Terrific. So what are you most excited about your business moving forward?
I'm hopeful. My husband had said to me, he was like, well, if you haven't been able to grow it before, now we're in the middle of a pandemic, people are having money issues. How are you going to be able to grow it now? And now I'm like, I can do this. I've done it so far. I've done what I hadn't been able to do for 2 years. So I have hope, which is really, that's priceless.
Great. Because basically Karen's going to walk away from this in August, and she has a system. She'll have a system in place that now she has operated, and she sees how it works. She knows how to be visible. She knows how to attract a client. She knows who is her ideal client. She knows how to build her audience, move them over from personal page into her group, and then how to nurture them. And now she's going to learn how to really sell to them. I mean, she has one client already, which who had renewed, right?
Yes.
So the person renewed. And so she did a beta test with this one person. So now she knows her program needs to be longer than just 6 weeks. Okay. So we also are discovering what is working with her ideal clients. What do they really need or want in the program to actually make the transformation of where they are to where they want to be? So that's another thing that is really great. Why you need a year program. Okay. Instead of 8-week program, 3-month program, you're just getting started, right? You're just starting to get your momentum. And all of a sudden, that's the end of the program.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way, and a year is like minimal, especially if you're coming from an industry like health and wellness and you have no idea how to market and sell, period. I'm not even talking about online. But just how to market and sell. In the olden days, we would go to networking events or BNIs or chambers or something like that to get exposure in the community. But now it's all about online. And even now more into 2020, everybody's online. So you've got to know how to do it online. Okay. So that's what's available. So what would you say to people that are on the fence, like, should I or shouldn't I join Dallas's program? Which, should I, what do you think? What would you tell them?
I would say consider whether you have the time, whether this is the time. Because if you don't have the time to work on it, this is probably not the time for you to sign up. But if you've tried other things, or even if you haven't tried other things, learn from my experience and save yourself that money and go ahead and sign up. But if you are ready to work and if you're ready to build your business using Facebook, I would say do it. Absolutely. Don't wait, because then you'll just be 3 months behind or whenever you finally decide to do it, because you haven't been able to do it on your own.
So how much time do you spend a day on building your business now, Karen?
Probably on a routine basis, several hours.
Yeah. Does that include content creation or is that separate from content creation?
As far as Facebook posts and things like that, I can include that in there usually, especially now that I can recycle some.
Okay.
But
Okay.
for email, like
So about 3
email,
hours a night, right? About 2 hours a night
yeah,
or a day.
yeah,
In
yeah.
the beginning, were you there was more hours, right?
Well, yes, yes. Mhm.
Yeah, to lay the foundation, you can expect the first 2 months you're going to be working more than 2 hours a day. And what does that look like? It may be 90 minutes a day, an hour and a half a day, but then you're doing more work on the weekend because you've got to set up your infrastructure, okay? And we really spend a lot of time on identifying who your ideal client is. Remember the worksheets? Who is your program for? Who is it not for? What is the transformation costing them? What is it worth? What is it costing your ideal client to stay stuck? So we can really monetize that as far as in finances or time or personal emotion, like people being stuck for years that you want to help them move from A to B. They're stuck, most people, right? And Karen just showed you for 2 years, you're like me. Actually, you only took you 2 years to find me. I mean, it took me probably 8 years to find someone like me, spinning my wheels, course after course, until I could figure out and put together a program that was end to end, from beginning to end and everything connected. So it wasn't just email marketing or contact marketing or sales copywriting, it was all together all at once. Bonita says, I think you can grow even better during a pandemic, maybe because everybody's home and everybody is online. But basically the formula for marketing and sales is it's basically there is a system and a process to put in place, and it's repetitive, right? Every day, the same thing over and over. And what changes is your relationships with people that you connect with. but that the system and the process is just day after day after day. You've got to learn and be patient that it will pop, because that's what occurs, right? Like month 3, month 5, that's when things start to pop. So great. So I'm there. Do you guys have any questions who are on here to ask Karen? You can even ask Karen about cardiovascular disease if you want to. She's an expert in that. Or just marketing and sales, working with me, going through the program. I'll just wait a second here to see, because there is a time delay on the people hopping on here. So tell me.
One thing I'd like to warn them is you will end up with Dallas on your shoulder and you'll hear her whispering in your ear. So when you're talking to your client and they're trying to, do something that, as Dallas would say, is outside of the container of your program, they're trying to talk you into changing things. You're like, no, this is the way it is. And if you'd like to do it, things like that, you can just hear her in your ear, and it's very helpful.
Yeah, I mean, it's really about getting, again, back to follow the system, follow the process, set your boundaries. You are working with human beings, and there is they want to manipulate and they want to do it their way. And we are the leaders. Remember, all of you on here, you are leaders. Being a coach, you are leading people from where they are to where they want to be. And as a leader, you don't let other people manipulate your program, right? Or change how it's supposed to be. They can make requests and you can shift. Like I know you had a client that wanted more time with you, right? So you were able to accommodate her because it was a one-on-one. But she certainly has started to shift in her working through the program. And that's another great thing, is you get to try out and really see, if you obviously Karen has had success and she's confident in her program, but you will become more and more confident in marketing, sales, operations, and delivery of your program moving through this year with me. You start to see, oh, I see how it works. I see, and then working with me, you will see the shift in your own clients. They kind of parallel. Definitely. Okay, you guys, I don't see, oh, here's Carla. She says, how often do you interact with your group? Weekly? Do you Zoom for Facebook Lives only? So how often do you interact with your group, Karen? How often are you in there?
For me, so I'm doing either, depending on my schedule, which is lovely with your own business, Dallas likes us to do a live, eventually, not at the beginning, but eventually a live at least once a week. So I do try to do a live once a week, but I'm doing them on Mondays, and sometimes Mondays are holidays and my kids have off school and we're going to Disney. And so then I pre-record and then post it that day. So I do that once a week. And then I'm typically getting in the group in the morning and in the evening. And so that way I can let in any new members that have sent requests, and then look at my notifications and respond to anybody that's posted. And then the lovely thing about the group also is, I have scheduled posts that are going in there that I'm not having to physically post at that hour, which is really nice.
So you've actually are using the scheduler in your group and setting it up for the week. Do you do a week at a time or a month at a time? How do you do that?
Well, it depends. So I have I have a thing that I put out on Tuesdays so that people can share either resources or their business or whatever. Tell Us Tuesday. So I have that one out for the month. And I have Whining Wednesday. So I've got that one for the month. Things like that I do on a regular basis, I'll go ahead and put in for the whole month. But the other ones I'm trying to do on a weekly basis.
Yeah. Batching. It's much easier to create content for the week in one sitting rather than to do it every day on the fly. I would agree with you. Definitely. And then her other question was, So so basically she's in her group twice a day, morning and night, evening, okay? And she does a weekly live, or she pre-records it. And how do you record it, Karen?
I'm doing it on my phone.
Doing on your phone and then uploading it to Facebook?
Yes, and the thing I have found is you can't pre-schedule that. It won't hold your video. So you got to actually physically do that. But I can do that from Disney World.
That's great. And they wanted to know, when you go live, do you go live right in Facebook, or are you using Zoom and so that you can record it? Or how are you going live is the
I have been
question.
going live directly into Facebook, and I did my first live with another person this week and actually did that directly in Facebook, but I need to work on this whole Zoom and streaming it to Facebook. I need to work on that. I don't have that skill yet, but I can definitely see the benefits of doing it that way rather than doing it directly into Facebook.
Yeah, yeah. So this is actually, we first hopped on for this session. Karen and I hopped on a Zoom, and then I connected it, or I'm streaming it to Facebook. Okay, so that's how you can do if you're doing interviews, or you have another person you're bringing on to do some education or whatever. You can use Zoom. The other product you can use is called StreamYard. Okay, and you should know both, because I remember the last time I did the workshop, Zoom wasn't available because, or 2 times ago when I did the workshop, all the kids were starting school and everyone was on Zoom, so it crashed. And so I had to learn StreamYard really quickly to be able to do the session of the workshop. So it's good to know 2 systems. All right. The other thing, what we're doing is just in case Facebook goes down, is we're uploading videos, our Facebook Lives, over to YouTube channel. Okay. It's good to have them somewhere else. Okay. So that you're creating a body of work, a library of work that people can actually access outside of Facebook. Okay. So that is another tip. So Carla says, work from anywhere, Disney with the kids.
Yep.
So she did that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what's the beauty of online businesses, right? You can
Yep.
go live in your car, walking the dog, at Disney. You can post anywhere, use your phone, use an iPad, whatever. Okay. All right, you guys. So we're going to wrap this up. If you want to contact Karen privately, you can do so. Her name is Karen Adam Laing. She also, if you're interested in hearing more about her, what are you calling your program again, Karen? Healthy Heart?
So All Heart Coaching is the business, and my Facebook group is Optimizing Heart Health by Enhancing Daily Routine. So if you'd like to jump in there with us, it's a very supportive group, and you can just dip your toe in and see what it's like.
Yeah, and if it's not for you, but it's, you have a relative or a friend or a colleague who is kind of sick and tired of taking the medications, the cardiac medications, and wants something different and wants to, kind of scope Karen out and see what she's up to, get in touch with her. You can actually go to her personal page, her banner, which we learned, her billboard. If you click on it, it goes to the link to her group, and that's how you can get into her group too. Okay. So she is definitely doing what we suggest. So I just want to thank everyone for hopping on here on a Sunday. A ton of you on here. Carla sends her love. And thank you, Karen, for doing this with me. And I hopefully a few more people say, I'm ready, let's do it, and get in contact with me in the DMs, and we'll see if this is the right program for you. Okay, everyone, have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye.
Bye-bye.